not able to watch us live. Let me now just quickly share my screen. And okay, here we go. So here we go. Welcome to AUIS online webinars. And for those who are joining us and for those who are watching us live on Facebook, we will be doing a series of live webinars over the next 2 weeks. So the full schedule is here. We'll be very consistent to make it easy for the audience to remember that all our webinars will be done at 4:30 in the afternoon. And each day we will be featuring a different academic department. So depending on the interests, depending on the programs that you are curious about, you'll be able to choose which day to join us online or to watch us live and then ask questions related to that major. So today our session is all about the AUIS educational model, why AUIS, what we are about, and what this American educational model is all about. So if at any point you have questions, please use the Q&A box on the Zoom link, for those who are on Zoom, or leave a comment on Facebook. We'll be watching that and then taking in your questions. So let me introduce our guests today, our panelists. So Dr. Tobin Hartnell, the interim dean of faculty, will be presenting more information about AUIS, along with Dr. Dastan Khalid Mustafa, our chair of the math department. I'm very excited that we also have students present with us today. So we have 2 seniors who will introduce themselves and will tell all about their journey and the experience at AUIS. And then very symbolically, as our alumni voice, we have Ms. Tanya Aram, who is our alumni relations manager. So she will be speaking on behalf of all the alumni, but of course she will be sharing her experience. So I want to thank my colleagues for being with us today and for starting this series. And now, of course, I would like to give the floor to Dr. Tobin to present AUIS and to answer that question of why AUIS.
All right, fantastic. Well, my name is Dr. Tobin Hartnell, as mentioned, and I came to the American University of Iraq, Suleimani, about 10 years ago in the summer of 2014. And I have to say, AUIS then and today was a really unique place. So it was very unusual for me to get the chance to teach at a liberal arts university in Iraq. And the AUIS is the oldest liberal arts university in Iraq, founded in 2007. And we came in 2007, and the thing I loved about it was you're bringing together 2 worlds, America, or let's say the West, and the best of the Middle East. So that there are so many faculty from so many diverse backgrounds, people from diverse backgrounds. It's like the whole world together on one campus. A liberal arts model emphasizes both personal enrichment and future success. And that's, I think, really important to remember because it challenges our students every day to think not only about what they want to do, but how they want to do it and why they want to do it, so that they become kind of well-rounded members of society who can advocate for as well as help promote a prosperous future for their country and their community. Because of our educational model, we tend to prioritize several unique qualities that will become very important in the increasingly technologically advanced world. So the 3 I'm going to pick out today are collaboration, interdisciplinary approaches, and critical thinking. They make up an essential part of an AUIS education. So our majors, anytime you choose a major from any of our wonderful departments, and you can meet them in the next 2 weeks, are the places to develop a deep understanding of their subject. But AUIS and the liberal arts model is a bit different because for the first 3 semesters, you tend to be focused on what we call the core, the liberal arts core, where you will study a little bit of math, a little bit of science, some social science, including philosophy, English, so that you have this American experience for your first year, and then you develop into a professional in your second, third, and fourth years. So one of the reasons why our students benefit from that Common Core is for 3 semesters, they can discover if their talents lie in an unexpected field. They've probably never taken a philosophy course, but they may discover they love it. They might have not considered law as an option, but once they've taken a course, they understand that actually that is a better path for them. But even if they stick with their original choice, they can also take a minor, which consists of 5 subjects in a field of their choice. So a software engineering student can take a minor in business, and a medical lab science student can take a minor in law. These minors are a wonderful way to develop an interdisciplinary perspective. Our diversity of students and faculty is also a great part of our university's strength. We have students from all backgrounds and all faiths, different academic interests, and as they learn together for 3 semesters, they also learn how to deal with each other and work together. The first semester is often an academic preparatory program, so focusing on that English language component, and then 3 semesters of their core. And these are designed to develop their analytical reasoning and communication skills. And it is the only place where every student has essentially the same education, no matter who they are, whether a math major, a science major, or in the social sciences and English. But just as important as the content of any particular program, AUIS places a strong emphasis on extracurricular and experiential learning. We want the students to get out of the classroom, and we want them to learn from any activities they might organize or work together with their faculty, with each other outside of the classroom. So these opportunities are basically abundant for any student that has an interest. They can find a community inside AUIS to work with their faculty, and they can look outside AUIS to work with companies and organizations in their community. A particular standout that I want to highlight today is the new art center that functions as a makerspace, where students can create art, music, they can perform, and they can engage with each other in very creative ways. So together with our formal instruction, these learning spaces develop more critical thinking skills as the unexpected becomes a regular part of a student's training. All of these features work together to foster a culture of innovation at our university. And our number one goal then is to prepare our students for an uncertain world where they become part of the solution for their communities and their nation. Along the way, they have an opportunity to have enriching careers that potentially span the globe through partnerships with the US, Europe, and increasingly East Asia. With that, I'd like to give the floor to Dr. Dastan Khalid, who will talk about our academic programs more specifically. Take it away, Dr. Dastan.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tobin. It's a pleasure to be here with you on this live webinar. So as Dr. Tobin and I said, I am Dastan. I am a physicist by qualification, and I'm the head of the Mathematics and Natural Sciences Department. I'm also the lab manager at AUIS. So one of the things that we often get from parents and from students who are newly joining our university is that when they register for specifically, for example, for an engineering program, one of the questions that we get is that why, as an engineering student, why do I have to study courses such as civilization or English? So our education system is primarily based on the American style, where, as Dr. Tobin said, it's a liberal arts system where we believe in not only that students need to be specialized in their field, but they have to have a general, wider knowledge in, across different fields. So therefore, when students are registering for a program such as engineering, the American education system and our education system believes that if a student is taking civilization, then once our students are graduating, they are a more complete individual to serve not necessarily just the local community, but actually the wider world. And one of the other things that we also get is that when we say that students has to study English, this is actually totally different than the normal English language that has been offered across other education sectors and other universities and schools and institutions. Usually our English courses actually mainly concentrates on critical thinking and understanding the deeper argument that is happening within a certain part of the course. When students are joining AUIS, other than your own specialized courses, we have these courses which we call core options. These core options are a set of specific courses that students need to take regardless of their program. This includes mathematical courses, physical science, life science, and English courses, as well as civilization. The key idea behind this is that we would like to engage our students in a critical thinking environment. And I am aware that not only us, every other institution around the world are using the word of critical thinking, but actually for us, critical thinking is not just important just by itself. What we believe deeply at AUIS is that we believe that we would like to have our students not only critically think about problems, but actually to think about which problems they need to think about critically. There are various problems around the world. Each one requires specific attentions and concentration. But for us to actually give a tool to our students to pick out certain types of problems and apply their thinking and their critical understanding is our aim, and it goes beyond what our current education system is based on. And this is extremely important for us because as our local family and friends and students are making a transition from our education sector to the higher education, unfortunately, all of their education experience is based on memorization and recalling certain information, which is actually not working for them once they graduate. So there's a lot of students who, when they graduate, they feel like they are not equipped with the necessary tools that they should have for the job. And this is where we believe our education system at AUIS is standing out, is that we do not have such gap. We do not give this gap where the students finishes a certain major within our university and then end up in a job where they feel like they are not equipped or ready for the position. And this is actually evident, I'm proud to say that this is evident from our alumni, where if you look at the past students who graduated from our institution, they are one of the best and the top performing individuals within the society, not only locally in Suleimani, not even locally as in Iraq, but even abroad in European countries, the US, even as far as Japan and East Asian country. So therefore, like once you join us at AUIS and you feel a little bit strange about being registered for the medical lab sciences, but you are studying mathematics, or you're enrolled for a dentistry and you're still taking civilization, this is just because our aim is to make you a better critical thinker for future.
Thank you, Dr. Dastan. I know that the general saying is that overall, the liberal arts education, this American style education, is providing a much broader educational model for students. So like if in traditional universities, if you'll come for the program, that's the only thing you'll study. But here we give the students this package because often, you know, when you talk to the employers or to the employment sector in general, the general tendency is that when a student graduates, the liberal arts university prepares graduates not for their first job, but for their fifth and sixth job. And especially nowadays, like we don't even know what the jobs of the future will be like. So this is where the liberal arts educational model, this American broad educational model, comes handy to prepare students to be ready and to be flexible. But I do have a follow-up question for you, Dr. Dastan. You are the chair of the math department. We don't have a special major with that. Yet you probably have one of the biggest numbers of students because all students have to take that required math class. So would you say the students learn to appreciate, like different major students, that they have your classes and they learn to see of how that education, that broad education, could come in handy? And we'll soon get to the student voices to ask that question of them, but I wanted to just get your input on that.
So thank you very much for that wonderful question. So actually, if I may mention something very interesting, that, for example, this week we are going through our advising week at university, where faculties are meeting students to advise them on what is the best course that they need to register for the coming semesters, and then how, to check what their progress. So one of the things that I want to mention to address your question is that one of the things that this is a very common theme we get from students when they join us, is that so for example, when a medical lab sciences student is taking a mathematics course, they at some point, for example, they mention, why do I need to take mathematics courses where I am going to end up in a medical sector and I will not be using X and Y's anymore? And this is unfortunately to address, is that unfortunately our past education system, as it goes, including actually our higher education system, has never really given the full meaning of, for example, a course like mathematics. People forget that mathematics is not about how to use an X and Y. It's more about teaching you how to discipline, because students normally in class, they understand mathematical concept, but do you discipline yourself to study, sit down and actually solve the equation by yourself? So when a student is taking mathematical course, it's not because we would like them to know what is X and Y and then certain other deeper mathematical concept, but we would like them to get to the idea of discipline. In one of the most famous courses that we offer from our department is physical science, where currently I am actually discussing a topic related to pollution and climate change, where I am specifically addressing how the climate of Iraq is changing. So this is very, very important, because our graduates, when they graduate, they are a little bit more connected to our environment, a little bit more careful in terms of approaching the society, where they need to look after our country, our atmosphere in a general term. So for us, it's amazing within our department that almost every student who joined AUIS has to go through our department. So I feel like every student is part of my inner department, to be honest. So we also look after them exactly in the same way. And I'm very, very proud of our students, where genuinely, when they take a course such as a physical science, where we discover the history of Earth and, how geological features on Earth is evolved, and, how we are polluting the atmosphere, and how we can tackle collectively, how we can tackle climate change. These are important topics that I believe nowhere in the country is offered to students. So my deepest passion and my greatest happiness that I have for our student is that I know AUIS is not a diploma producing institution. I know that by the time our students are graduating from our institution, they are a better, more fully and complete individual part of the society than anywhere else in the country.
Thank you. That was a very nice concluding statement.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Just a reminder to our audience who are watching us here live on Facebook, or if you are here with us on Zoom, you do have a possibility to ask questions. So make sure you leave your comments, or you put in a question that is, that you need an answer today, because that's what we'll be happy to do during this webinar. So we've heard from our faculty members. So of course, faculty members will be excited about the classes they teach and passionate about the model of education. But we really wanted to give the floor to our students, because like in any organization, any business, students and alumni are the product of what AUIS education gives. So we have two seniors with us today. So Dima, maybe let's start with you, where maybe you guys can just briefly share about why you chose AUIS when it was time for you to choose to make a decision of where to study, and have that choice proven right. You know, what have been the things that you have been impressed or not so impressed with. We are very open to hear your thoughts, and mostly referring to how have you perceived and how you value the education that you have been receiving at AUIS.
Thank you so much. My name is Dima. This is my final semester in AUIS, and I joined in 2021. So for most of my life, I have been enrolled in an American system, and I grew to appreciate the interdisciplinary approach. And I would like to thank Dr. Tobin and Dr. Dastan for speaking on the extracurricular activities and the education system, which I really love. So one thing that I realized AUIS did is focus so much on, as Dr. Tobin said, personal enrichment and future success. So what I personally really appreciate is having the ability to engage in extracurricular activities that allow us to incorporate what we study in the class and expand it to a wider perspective. For example, me and Sawin, we started the Human Rights Club, and we don't really have human rights, a lot of human rights focused classes, but we were able to use our clubs to incorporate everything else that we studied in our major and spread that into the world. So we worked with diplomats, we worked with NGOs, we were able to achieve grants to work on the projects and elevate the status and the education in AUIS. So I think that really allowed me to have the opportunity to explore what I love and what I want, rather than just stick to one education approach. And I was able to gain real life skills and experience through faculty support as well as the extracurricular activities. So at any time, I always felt supported, that I could go to my professors and gain that help into whatever idea I have. And this is why I really appreciate the interdisciplinary system, extracurricular activities, faculty support in AUIS. Sawin, do you want to elaborate?
Of course. Thank you, Dima. My name is Sawin. I'm honored to address you today as a student at AUIS. I want to take you on the journey through my experience at AUIS from the moment I chose to join this institution to the education that I've received now. When I first considered my options for higher education, I chose a public university, but after being in that system, I actually changed to AUIS because it stood out to me as a source of academic excellence and diversity, which is something that I appreciate a lot. And I also knew that I wanted more than just a degree. I wanted an education that would challenge me to think critically and creatively about the world around me. And that's exactly what I found at AUIS. While my major is international studies, the foundational courses have provided me with a solid understanding of fundamental concepts and principles. Although it can be challenging, I think it's more of an approach where you can connect different things, and you can, rather than having a narrow approach, I can connect, for example, as Dr. Dastan was pointing out about climate change, I can connect the science of climate change to my own major, which is more related to politics. And As well as Dima had pointed out, AUIS is more than just a place of academic learning. It's a vibrant community where students come together to learn, to grow, and make a difference. We are very active in our clubs, and I'm very proud with Dima to be the co-founders of the Human Rights Club. This was a great opportunity for us with Dr. Tobin as our club advisor to engage in really important social issues, as well as advocating for positive change. I think in conclusion, my experiences at AUIS has been very transformative. The liberal arts education has a great emphasis on critical thinking and interdisciplinary learning. And I think this empowers students as well as myself to become lifelong learners and be an agent of change in our community and beyond. Thank you for allowing me.
Thank you. On that note, you guys are both seniors, right? So like this is your last semester now. So of course, you know, you've developed, you've grown, you've learned, and now you'll be entering the actual world where you'll have to put it all in practice. I'm just curious to know what's next for you. Like, what are your dreams? What are your ambitions? Or maybe you already have a plan going forward.
Well, I can, or Dima, if you want to, you can go ahead.
Thank you. For me, I think I would really like to continue with human rights advocacy, given that I grew to really harvest my skills in that. So I was thinking to enter the diplomacy route for now. But again, I learned so many diverse skills. So I'm able to apply them throughout many different disciplines. So I'm not limited, but it is a big option for now.
Definitely, Sawen.
Yeah, I think yes, as we're at the end of our journey, I think the options for us, especially for international studies, the options are wide and we can choose in many different fields. Definitely human rights. This is a field that we both have a lot of experience in. But I'm actually thinking more of like, I want to go into security and policy analysis, but this is still in the progress. And I think like, even though I haven't graduated, I'm already part of a group, a workshop that's going to be self-funded and it's going to continue. So by the time that I've graduated, I'll actually be employed with a bunch of people in the same field of human rights.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you for your experiences and all the best as you are finishing your last semester exams and then senior projects. But I do want to ask direct a question from our audience to both of you. So this is a question for seniors. What were the downsides of your AUIS experience? And what do you wish you did a bit better? A great question. So maybe Dima, start with you.
Yeah. So I think the downside would be that the university is still a work in progress. I think that we have definitely achieved, foundational, very important values for the region, but it still can always progress. I obviously have encountered sometimes where I felt like, especially in the field of human rights in my university, it could be more diverse. The university could accept more diversity, could foster, I would say, more diversity or more inclusion, and it could raise more voices of the students rather than, have a very strict approach.
That's good to know. And I definitely know that is the university's plan, because we already have, I think about 70% of our students are Kurdish students, about 25 are our Arab students, and then we get students from other countries, and that is the goal. But that's definitely amazing to hear from our students that you are also seeing that need and desire that the AUIS should be even growing and becoming more diverse. That's amazing vision to have. Savian, any comments from your side? What you wish would have been different, or you would have done differently?
Of course, I think what I wish I did better, I think if you're already in AUIS, definitely go up to your faculty. I know, for example, for me, you can get nervous, you're new to university, you don't know who to go to. I can assure you that take advantage of the resources that are available, and there are a lot of professors, staff that are all willing to help you along with your journey. And I think this is one thing that I wish that I had done better. It would be this, to reach out and ask for help when you need it.
Thank you so much. Well, let's move to our alumni voice, right? So, Tanya, maybe you can introduce yourself and just tell about your story of coming to AUIS, and then when you graduated, what has been your major, and then just your reflections on, how has AUIS education prepared you for the job market, for the real world, and especially since you are the alumni relations coordinator at AUIS, you know many of the alumni stories, so you can truly summarize the value of AUIS education. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Aista. And I would also like to thank Dr. Dastan and Dr. Tobin for joining us and our senior students. Being the AUIS Alumni Relations Office Manager, like you mentioned, I don't offer the voice of all alumni, but I'll try to share my journey and wrap up the whole experience to come full circle. So I graduated in 2020. My major was business administration with a minor in IT. I would have to say that my experience it might be a little bit different than the rest of our alumni, especially since I graduated in 2020, which was the year of the corona. We didn't have, the best graduation ceremony. So it was a little bit more difficult trying to get into the real world. But based on that, I would have to reflect on my experience as a student and how that prepared me to dealing with, the actual world, going into the job market. So being an AUIS student and the structure that is built around it. So for example, when you're thinking about, the most basic structures as, trying to take our classes, choosing our classes, and how sometimes that can get so stressful. But, as senior students, I'm sure Sawan and Dima can relate to that as well. But that in itself teaches you a lot. It teaches you, time management. It teaches you how to, plan out your schedule. And I would also have to reflect on one of Dr. Dastan's comments, is that we're not only in the business of trying to get students into AUIS and graduating students with, just a bachelor's degree. It's not just a degree, but it's also a life experience. We're not graduating just students, we're graduating future leaders. So, and I'm not just mentioning that based on my own experience. Like you mentioned, we have a very wide network of our alumni. I'm glad to say that as of right now, we have a little bit over 2,200 of our graduates from different majors. And I believe this semester we will be graduating, this cohort, we will be graduating our first law graduates, which I'm very excited about, a new major to graduate from AUIS. So based off of that, one story or one point that I hear from our alumni, which is, just one constant point, is basically the liberal arts education and the extracurricular activities that AUIS offers, and basically that community that you get to grow in. You come from, your high school, you're a fresh graduate, 18, 19, but then you're just thrown into this community, and the connections that you build, the classes that you take, the people you get to know, whether it's students, staff, and faculty, it really builds you up as a person, which is, what the college experience should be. But what's so special about AUIS that I would have to say is the fact that it really opens you up not only to the the experiences within the city itself, but it opens you up into a more international world, as we have previously mentioned, that it's not only classes coming out of taking the class, doing a club. No, but it connects you more to, for example, we have the Korean Center. We have, you know, all of our connections with the United States, all of our connections with, with Britain, whatnot. And we are also exposed to so many events on campus. I would have to mention our most recent event, our Suli Forum, where it's not only connecting you to countries that are near you, but it connects you to so many more countries. It's an international event. But I'm not going to promote Suli Forum. I'm mostly going to promote AUIS and, you know, why it's such an amazing university. And I would have to say, from an alumni perspective, I chose AUIS mostly because of the quality of the education it offers and the connection and experience that it gives me.
Thank you so much. We still have some time, and I will still want to make sure that each one of you has a chance to make last comments at the end of the session. But we have two questions that are very much in the same line, same topic, and we have questions about any fully funded scholarships at the university. What is the eligibility, and whether the university offers scholarships for high school students with high grades. So this is, of course, now getting into very specific details of the admissions world. So I can just quickly jump in and say, from the admissions perspective, AUIS tuition has automatically inbuilt discounts. So the higher grades that you have, the higher baccalaureate score, the bigger discount is offered to the students. So all our current tuition prices are on our website. We will be having in May a special admission session where we will be talking all about the admission requirements and grades. So if you are a strong student and your grades are high, then you will really pay quite symbolically for your education, comparing to the quality and value that you're getting. In terms of fully funded scholarships, that varies year from year. We've used to have national scholarships that offered entirely free education, and sometimes we do this. We have other scholarships. So each year there are definitely scholarships that provide education free of charge. But I would like to actually give a chance for our students to comment. They maybe, and I don't know your situation. Have you studied here on a scholarship? You definitely know stories of other students. Any comments that you would like to make in terms of the financial investment or the scholarships in regards to AUIS education? Dima?
Yes, thank you. I think AUIS provides a lot of opportunities throughout the years. So when I first joined the university, I was not on a scholarship. I did get aid with the built-in structure because of my SAT grades. But my last year, so this year, I was able to obtain the Korean scholarship. So it's a fully funded, well, it wouldn't be considered fully funded. It covers my my last 2 semesters in university. I think it's amazing that I was able to get offered this opportunity, and it took so much financial weight off, and it helped me focus more just on studying and getting the best experience in AUIS. And I think for anybody who wants to sign up, they don't have to lose hope, because as you said, every year it changes and there are tons of opportunities.
Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
I think I wanted to just elaborate on what Dima was saying. I understand how hard it can be to apply for private universities, as I have been in similar situations, but I think AUIS does offer, and they have, based on each year, they do have different scholarships that are offered. So I would definitely tell the students or the people that are watching this to watch out or to check AUIS's website, and to definitely attend the webinars that AUIS is offering, as this would be a great opportunity for you to get to know the more tuition side of AUIS and the opportunities that would be available.
Thank you so much. Dr. Dastan, I have one last question for you. You know very well the local educational world. You have worked in public universities, you work at AUIS, you have had international experience working and studying abroad. So if you were to recommend or advise currently high school seniors, as they are making, I mean, now they're preparing for final exams, but in the summer they will have to be making their decisions. So what would you advise them to take into consideration? What is important for them to know when they are, lost in this opportunities? There are so many choices. How should a student decide which educational model to pursue, which university to choose, and even which program to study in?
Thank you very much. So I think one of the things that I would love to mention, and I actually want to tell my fellow citizens here in the whole of the country, is that so AUIS is definitely, it's a non-for-profit institution. So what this means is that there's not a single individual within the institution which takes profit out of the university and out of tuition fees. And this is extremely important for students to know in the education sector as they transition to the higher education, because that just shows that our whole sole aim is actually not specific funds, and as I mentioned before, to just award the degrees to increase student numbers. Our genuine belief in our AUIS system is that we genuinely believe to cultivate new future leaders for the country. We believe that our institution provides a foundation for a better leader for tomorrow's not just the country, but actually around the world. We believe that Iraq is not our limit, Soleimani is not our limit. We genuinely believe that we would love to have our graduates to end up in Korea, in China, in the EU, in Australia, and around the globe. And for this, I just need to say that each individual faculty is totally committed, not for the provisions of just the education and that's it. We are genuinely interested in future leader. And therefore, if I have to just directly speak to our high school students, is that I would just say that if you want to be a better critical thinker, if you want to be a future leader, if you want to know and understand different things around the world, then AUIS is the place. I mean, there is an example that I usually give to my students, is that there's a lot of civil engineers as they graduate across the country. Almost every university has a civil engineering program, and they graduate from there. But not every civil engineer is being touched by a course in civilization where they study Babylonian and Sumerian style of things. Then when they graduate, they apply their civilization understanding to their job. And this in itself is to me, I think it's unbelievable. And I have, as you mentioned, I have worked in public sector, private sector across Europe. And I have never seen a better, honestly speaking, I have never seen any better education institution that I have worked in the past.
Thank you so much. Well, and thank you to all our panelists for being today, for taking the time and sharing your experience and your input. I do want to encourage the audience, if you have any further questions, if you'd like to learn more, come visit us, come to campus. The admissions office team will be more than glad to host you. Every Thursday, we have the one-day AUIS program where you can actually come and become the actual student for one day. Go to the classes, eat in cafeteria. You can find all the information on our website. So please register and come. And also heads up that on May 9th, the AUIS will host its usual traditional university day, where the campus will be open to everyone, and every department will be showcasing their students, will be showcasing their faculty, and there'll be lots of exciting activities to engage in. And just again, for our last information, This is the schedule of the upcoming webinars. So tomorrow we'll be talking about our academic prep program, APP. So for students who want to study at AUIS, but they are worried about their English language level, this is the program that helps them make that dream a reality. The students become better English speakers. They become better academically prepared to start their studies at AUIS. So tomorrow, the program faculty members as well as students will be sharing their experience. And then next week, we'll start with our medical programs. On Sunday, we'll have the College of Dentistry. On Monday, College of Pharmacy. On Tuesday, Medical and Health Sciences. And then we'll keep advertising all other programs. So please continue joining us live. We're here to give you bits of information to help you get the key facts. Thank you for those of you who have watched us live. Thank you for your comments and the thanks in the comments on Zoom. We look forward to connecting with you every single day, and we look forward to hosting you on campus as well. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. Thank you, my dear participants, my dear fellow students and colleagues. We look forward to then talking about other programs tomorrow and in the days to come. Thank you once again, and goodbye.